my channel. My name is Mimi. In this video specifically, we're going to be doing curse breaking. We're going to be tapping into deliverance blessings and seeing where those blessings are coming from and unlocking the heart. For the longest time, I guess my heart, a lot of people want to be like, your heart is blocked. No, my heart isn't blocked, okay? The energy is more so it's locked to those whom it doesn't belong to, the blessings, that is. But would you call it, at this moment, we're more so unlocking our hearts from ourselves and for God, right? So that the blessings come through. And we're also invoking the divine blessings to shine so bright that it breaks any curses. Like I meant curse breaking to be kind of like that one moment, although it's kind of funny, right? In Scary Movie where was it Scary Movie 4 or Scary Movie 3, where the girl from The Ring comes out and they're like, we'll adopt you, we'll take care of you, da 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 da, we're a family, da 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 da. And the girl's like, really? And she just turns back to her normal self, like how she was when she was thrown into the ring. And it was like, that's everything she ever wanted. But then, like, in the obviously Scary Movie, she was no, like, you know what I mean? But, that's if like the curse is like breaking fails or something, but it has to be truly authentic and stuff like that. So basically, right now, there's a lot of curse breaking that I'm calling for, as well as bringing on to ourselves and those those curses are broken blessings. So the way the blessings work, and people may feel resentful over it. So it's like that's why it wouldn't work, is because if there was hidden resentment there, then that's why it wouldn't work, right? Then the curse is not really broken, right? So basically, the energy is of like, and I was really feeling it the other day, and it's like, even if they were blessed, the amount of karma that they would have had to pay up would have still weighed them down. That's not the curse. The curse isn't the karma they have to pay. The curse is what made them do what it is that they did to cause them that karma. You know what I mean? Karmic debt specifically. So when you're breaking curses off of people, you're basically breaking the karmic cycle, not just off of yourself, but off of others, so that they may pay their debt, which is mercy upon them, right? So you got to pray for mercy upon them, right? You got to pray for divine blessings upon them so that those karmic cycles of debt break. Because I mean, like I said, I've said this also in the past, it's like, even if they go to hell, the karmic debt still would need to be paid because it's a huge debt, right? It's something that is basically cannot really be forgiven, which is why you got to call forgiveness onto yourself, so that then the forgiveness heals yourself strong, like, so you're also protected from the backfire of those debts not being paid, right? Because it's a lot of work. So right now, that was the instruction that I got in order for me to like really keep on going, because karmic debt is really annoying. So we're gonna tap into and see what the karmic debt really is, right? So we're gonna see what the karmic debt is, what has to be paid off, what has to be done, right? What has to be done in order to pay off that karmic debt, even if it's an impossible debt to pay, but with God's mercy, it will be paid, right? So first of all, withdrawal, quit, awakening, rejection. So awakening, blessings, marriage. So yeah, this is awakening, sweet love, well-being, reservation, desire, worth, extravagance. So this is like the blessings coming through, thank God. And the withdrawal, I'm guessing, is the curse breaking, right? Yeah, the curse breaking. Yeah, that's their satisfaction. So it's basically bringing satisfaction to oneself before divine blessings come through, right? So it's learning to be satisfied and truly satisfied, comfortable, and so on. It's basically learning to build your foundation for yourself, learning how to live your lifestyle, right? So a lot of people who have have the karmic debt, right? They don't live a comfortable lifestyle. They work themselves to death. They do too much. Like, they're always uncomfortable, quite literally. And they're like used to it, is what the lie is in the paradigm, right? So it's like, in order to break away from that, it's learning that I'm not used to this. Like, I'm not used to this. I don't want to get used to this. I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be here the way that I am. Like, I know what belongs to me. Like, this is like learning exactly. You see what I mean? And there it is. Because the curse in the situation is like one lying to oneself, one deceiving oneself about what is comfortable, what isn't. Especially when there's this energy, like an entity or something like that, trying to cause disarray and act as if that, would you call it, that it that what which what we're saying as if that it had been ever a lie, right? When the reality of the situation is like me saying that I'm uncomfortable right now is actually a reality. Like my legs are going numb, right? I'm sleeping on the floor, right? My place is a mess. Like I'm uncomfortable. I'm really uncomfortable. This shirt is too tight. It's also really dirty. Like there's a lot of stuff, right? I gotta wash my hair. I gotta take care of myself. Like I don't feel comfortable at all, actually, and my fucking face is itching all the time. Like, you know what I mean? I'm always hurting. But that's not the curse, right? The curse would have been, I would have been, okay, God forbid, right? But the curse would have backfired on me if I had stooped myself down to the level where I believed that this was okay. But I didn't, right? Which is why the curse is coming out, because it's bouncing off, right? Due to forgiveness that the Lord has provided me with, right? The forgiveness to love him, right? And this is like what allows the blessing to come in, which would be me also being strong enough to be able to defeat the curse for others, right? And provide blessings onto others, right? So the situation right now has to do with breaking that curse. So in order to break it, yeah, there it is. It's a nightmare. Like, look, suffering, darkness, and prosecution, right? No one really enjoys that. No, that is not something anyone can be comfortable with, right? The lie in the situation will also be like sadism or sadomasochism in the situation. Like masochism would be also like knowing you're being hurt and also accepting it as a form of suffering, saying that you're accepting of the suffering, but you're not accepting of the pain. Like basically it's that the pain, it's like it's a lot of that energy. It's sadomasochism in a situation. So the sadists don't feel the pain, don't experience the pain, but they lie to themselves saying that that's what they want to inflict, that's what they find elevates them, but that's not the truth, right? That's not the truth of Jesus. You got to really understand. Okay, I want to make this clear. I want to make this very clear. Okay, when we say the body of Christ, we literally mean that this vessel, this body is of Christ, like is of like Jesus holds the same embrace of this vessel, of our vesselage, right? So his purity and his innocence in the situation can guide us, right? His beingness can guide us and teach us what is really truthfully okay, because the amounts of delusion that the brain can endure is actually kind of fascinating, honestly. But basically, it's like saying, well, um, let's just put it this way. If you would enjoy your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your siblings, or yourself going through it, then it probably isn't good. Okay? If and then that's also bringing to light the sadomasochism of the situation, the sadism, right? So if you really think that it would be okay for your siblings, your father, your mother, your cousins, you know what I mean, your grandpa, your great grandma, or your little son or your little daughter, you know what I mean, or their kids, your great grandkids to be going through it, going through that kind of pain, then that's where you need to get checked. Because the situation is that the reality would be that you wouldn't enjoy it. And that's where you're not reflecting off of that empathy. You're not being empathetic in that situation. That's where something needs to be sparked, right? That empathy needs to be sparked, right? And I'm not saying to picture your family going through this, because that's also a big no-no. Do not picture your family going through what it is. That's no good. That's not a good thing to do. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now. Imagine if your imagination is very strong. Okay, and I understand that a lot of people, you know what I mean, can't. But you don't. If you feel like you have to picture your family going through fucking hell so that you can feel like the punishment is severe, yourself go through it, then that also is like, what would you call it? Because you want to imagine yourself going through it, right? Because the reality of the situation is empathetically, you picturing it or imagining it also puts kind of yourself in a self delusion, right? Understand that your empathy is wiser and stronger than that of the imagination that you could produce for yourself. It is quite literally a divine blessing, right? You feeling the pain, the impact of other people's suffering to themselves would give you enough. It should be enough. It should be enough. You shouldn't have to go through. I couldn't imagine, and that's where empathy really. That's why empathy is really important, because it's like learning that you can't put yourself in those shoes. You can't put yourself in that shoes. You can't put your family that perspective, in that shoes. That's not right, right? You know, something is reminding me of a periscope, right? That's what I'm thinking. It's like a periscope. And a periscope, like, let me look that up 1 second, because that's what it's reminding me of. So a periscope basically is a round viewer, a tool that lets you see from a hidden or lower position by bending the light line of sight. Okay, so it's like periscoping is more like how our imagination works, right? So this is, as someone who has aphantasia, like I manually periscope, literally. So a tool that lets you see from a hidden or lower position by bending the line of sight. Let me see what it looks like really quickly. You know, art imitates life, and all our mechanics are based off of, what would you call it, how our reality works, how our body works. Yeah, basically. So it's like a, yeah, basically. Mhm. It's all about glimpses into our consciousness. It's about glimpsing into our consciousness. Okay, something like that. Okay, so let's see what. So the curse in this situation, the nightmare or whatever, the suffering, it has to do with not being comfortable enough to embrace the divine, basically. And it's being put in, like, let's say, like, this is like one of the reasons, like, it's one of the reasons why people feel like they won't be forgiven, right? So they do more bullshit, like they do more crimes, they do more things that would put them in karmic debt, because God would forgive them, you know what I mean, once they break the karmic cycle, once they break the, you know what I mean, God would show them a different way, you know. Allah is most merciful. God is most merciful. He is quite literally just that kind, right? And so, um, yeah. Also, this is where it's like, don't picture what you think God is and isn't, because then it's like, yeah, um, optimism in reverse, illusion in reverse, delirium, right? Or is it delirier? Okay, daydreaming basically in reverse. Yeah. So it's like in the incapacity to see oneself in a higher perspective, right? But basically that's not like a periscope energy, right? It's like unable to see prayer, or unable to see religion, unable to see that energy. Let's look at the word religion, okay? Because every time I mention religion, people like freak out, right? And that's like an example of that curse, quite literally. But basically, religion is just allegiance, allegiance of oneself to a higher power, to a higher source. That higher power could just be your higher self. It could just be you in the future. Like literally, it could also be the most high God, right? It's literally allegiance oneself to a better version of yourself, quite literally. Which, if you really understand Jesus Christ, right, you would understand that he is the Son of God, which is a direct line to God himself. You see what I mean? It's God himself in the body of his Son. You see what I'm talking about now? So it's kind of like, when he was on earth, he was the prince of heaven, and then he became the king of heaven. You see what I'm talking about now? So it's like that energy. Um yeah. So would you call it? So him praising the most high would be him also consecrating his position in kingdom as the king. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like that kind of hierarchy. Once you understand, like, let's say, in if you really know where you stand in your spiritual ranking, you would understand at some point in reality you might have only been a slave, right? Whether it be a slave only onto the most high, or a slave to others, right? Whether it may be even a slave to your own desires, however it is, there's slavery there, right? So understanding that you at that point pledged allegiance in your past life, pledged allegiance to who you are now, right? You worshiped who you are now, right? So now you worshiping who you're gonna be is the natural sequence of events, right? So it's about understanding what it is that who you're who you're choosing to be in the future is the reflection of how you see God. That's the only way to really understand it, right? Because that allows your vision to align, right? So if you see yourself as like benevolent and like high standing and like this and that and wonderful, then you would act accordingly, right? That's what religion does, right? Religion allows you to build a straight and narrow path towards whom you see yourself as in the future, right? Which is your adherence to a divine philosophy, right? Also cited, I'm defeated as well. So basically, it's like you're you're paying it forward through realigning yourself. Religion is the power to realign yourself continuously, right? Because we can understand God's mercy by truly understanding that, well, as much as we would like to stay on that straight and narrow and all that stuff, also understanding that why the forgiveness really exists is because, well, we are also human, right? So we deviate a lot, right? We go through all these different dimensions and timelines and pathways, but it's all in one orchestration, one divine pillar, right? That way we can simulate a higher perspective of who we are, literally simulating a higher perspective of who we are, and then introduce that energy, that personality, that experience onto ourselves. This is literally allowing. This is praying, right? So we're praying, and then all the configurations of those things, all the idea, identities, and so on and so forth. You have to understand they come from the Most High Source, so they are in itself the purest that it could be, and that in itself is like the light code of prayer that we read, right? And then donating, like I said, is paying it forward, quite literally. So a lot of people, like I said, that's libation, right? That's the importance of it, right? It's also really understanding the dynamic of that play, right? A lot of people, you know what I mean? They're scared of that. They're scared of that. They're scared of that. They feel like that's not real, or if they feel like that's not what it is, or they feel like, you know, there's a lot of different things that you can take from it. It's you know what I mean? What do they call it again? Up to interpretation, you know what I mean? But that it wouldn't be that then. It wouldn't be libation. It would be something else, but it wouldn't be libation. Um, and there's marriage here, which has to do with sweet love, which has to do with innocence, right? And it also has to do with divine intersecting. Yeah, the promise. You see what I mean? It's funny how it's a marriage and then it's like the promise. You see what I mean? It's like one or the other. It's responsible confirmation assurance. You see what I mean? So all this assurance, all these blessings, all this like confirmation that we're receiving now, it all comes from the past. It all comes from who we used to be, like who we had once been to dream of a reality such as this now, right? Um, yeah. And here's the triumph in a situation. So there's triumph. It looks like the curse has been broken, right? Death, energy, accident, marionette. Yeah, that's like that was the curse right there. So it was like now that it's broken, we can talk about it, right? The energy has to do with in endless inevitable harm um from caution, injury, and danger, right? Endless, inevitable harm from caution, injury, and danger. It's like whenever there was a caution, right? Whether it be adhered or not adhered, there was always some sort of injury. There was always some sort of danger. There was always, it was like endless and inevitable, always, right? But then, what'd you call it? Then due to that endless, inevitable harm that was being caused, right? Due to a causation of that, right? There was always some sort of reluctance right after. You see what I'm talking about now? Domination or people like predators taking advantage of the endless inevitable harm that was being caused. It was like an open wound, right? It's like it's like being afraid of the doctor to suture up an open wound because you're used to flies and like butterflies and like because they're butterflies that do like blood, right? Either they exist, but what you call or like maggots or like insects or like mosquitoes. Yeah, yeah. So it's like being afraid of the doctor to suture and cover up your wound because you're used to mosquitoes constantly trying to get at your wound to drink the blood, and so you end up smacking it, and then the wound is still open, and you smack it, and then the wound is still open, and then you smack. You know what I mean? It's constantly like that. But then it's like triumph doesn't come just because you finally like become brave and then you go to the doctor, right? No, that's not how it works, right? Because then the whole point of that curse was that even if you had looked for a doctor, it would have been someone that would like fucking harvest your organs or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Scary ass shit like that, right? It's like that was always the reoccurring dynamic of the situation. Well, the curse is now broken. There's triumph over it. I mentioned this like carrying this thing, right? Success, victory, and achievement, right? Because it's been stopped. There's stop right there. It's been stopped. So whatever was supposed to really happen there has to do with allowing oneself to be comfortable with delivering oneself with like interaction friendliness. I'm not too sure because I've never had this curse broken up before. Like I said, um and I'm just I don't know what's going to come next, okay? But I'm sure it's going to be something divine, something wonderful because it seems like what okay, so what was being blocked was oh man, I can't stand that it's yellow and then like I'm trying to read it and it's like is that initiation? Suggestion, vision, inspiration. Y'all, that took me a minute. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, inspiration. I didn't. Let's say again. Suggestion, vision. Okay. Inspiration. Inspiration, suggestion, visions. Okay. So when it came to some sort of idea, some sort of inspiration, suggestion, or vision, there was never any kind of arena. There wasn't some sort of arena. I call it an arena. Arenas aren't only for battles, okay? Arenas aren't only for battles, okay? Okay, okay. Arenas are not only for battles. Um, yeah, basically, the sand field of battle, any stage of competition, performance, or debate. Okay, that's what it is. Any stage of competition, performance, or debate. You see what I mean? So arenas aren't only places where there's competition and debate. It's also where there's performance, right? The whole point is that there wasn't any arena for any kind of performance, right? It was like the curse was blocking there being a blessing of, would you call it, it was creating, it was like it was subjugating people to an experience of like what do I call this again, um ultimatums, right? um Ultimatums where if they wanted to have some sort of arena to perform, that they would also be confined in it. You see what I mean? Like it was like a vengeance. It was like some sort of vengeance curse. It was like collective, it was like basically making it seem like if you ever had anywhere to belong, that place would turn on you inevitably, right? Which is that's the constant harm, right? So that's the curse that's broken now, right? So what's being liberated and free is the arena to perform. Okay, the arena to perform. Okay. So what does this mean, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father? Is what I'm trying to figure out. So when it comes to some sort of inconsistency of performance due to there not being an arena, right? That's going to be alleviated from. There's good news, thank God. I've been seeing so much good news lately. I'm just so excited. I'm just so happy. Like I can feel the curse being lifted because I can feel like I feel my soul is being unlocked. I feel like that's the only way to unlock my heart is if my soul is free to be. You know what I mean? And so that's what's being unlocked right now. Solar plexus chakra. Let me see what this is. Chakra. Let me see what this is. So it's like unlocking my soul code. Yeah, I see it there. Yeah, solar plexus chakra. My soul code, which is like the frequency of the solar plexus chakra, the yellow flower of life. Yeah, passion. See what I mean? Supports our sense of self, our personal power, and our willpower, as well as our knowing of who we are and what we contribute into the whole. So this is like unlocking. Yeah. Compassion. Remember I was talking about compassion before being like there was a gateway. I talked about it where it was like gonna be activated because that there was no compassion in the past, right? So it was like, let's say, I think the story here, okay, is that we're gonna have real compassion, right? And we gotta really know the story for the situation to really, it's like therapy, okay? Whatever that entity is, or not entity, but whatever that person had been in the past, whoever that person who tried to put that curse upon us went through something, okay? Yeah, some sort of misguidance, okay? Someone misguided that person to be extremely vengeful. That's what it is. Someone misguided someone to be extremely vengeful, okay? And it's not the matter isn't in the matter isn't in the matter isn't in what'd you call it? I'm gonna take that card back because it was in reverse. The matter wasn't in them being, it's not the person who misguided them. I think it's like more so how they were misguided. Let's see what that is. Yeah, no, the Empress still wanted to come out in reverse. It was how they were misguided. It was that they were misguided to believe that they were something that they were not. What is that? Yeah. Someone had okay, so there was some sort of misguidance when it came to someone believing that they were possibly, or maybe that's the individual, someone misguiding others to believe that someone was the Empress in reverse, or someone misguiding some people to believe, or them believing of themselves as the Empress in reverse. Yeah, they were yeah, cycle complete. Maybe that's what it is. What is that? Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father. So they had, okay. Someone was misguiding others to hide the fact that they were the Empress in reverse. That's what it is. But the person that was, who was the one that was, they were the ones that were cursed, right? This is really something else. Let me fix this. So first of all, there's blocks communication from an Empress in reverse energy. It's some sort of fighting, right, occurring. The Empress in reverse, yeah, is under judgment. So they are the one that was misguiding. So in order to break off the curse, it has to do with, is it understanding that person's story? What is their judgment? What is their judgment? Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father. If we're So that's what it is. So these are like false donations. Yeah, is that they were, okay, so it's the same thing as before. It was like they were going through inevitable harm, or that that's the karmic loop, is that they weren't seeing how they were causing themselves inevitable harm and danger. Yeah, they weren't seeing how they were causing themselves inevitable harm and danger, and thus were cursing others with the same fate, is what it is. So whereas they felt vengeful under confinement, that's what it is. They felt vengeful under confinement, and so they decided to cause the vengeance onto others when they refused to consider that they were doing that to themselves. It's kind of the energy of like, okay, and I know this energy. It's like someone refusing to see that they were truly confining themselves because that they feel like it had been done by somebody else's hand. But the reality was that the confinement was a reflection of what they had already been doing to themselves and others in a spiritual manner, right? They were, yeah, exactly, in a more spiritual way. And so it's like they might have been feeling as if, this is where it is as well. They might have followed traditional patterns to put themselves in a position of success, and that might have not worked out for them, but they refuse to understand that it's through the power of self that it really would work. It's like how do I say this? It's like if I had been, like, for example, if I had not listened to myself, right? If I had not paid attention to what my intuition was telling me and I stayed in art school, right? When I knew for a fact, like, yeah, art restoration may not be the most prolific business, and it's very rare to get into, but once I get into it, I'd be making good amounts of money, right? But is that really what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, is that really what I wanted to tap into for the rest of my career? Like, is there any variety in that? Is that something that I could achieve that sense of satisfaction for myself, right? Or is there a better way to reach that goal, right? Rather than being so focused on the detail of art restoration, I was asking for there to be a bigger picture, because that's also a part of my North Node. I'm like, quite literally, no pun intended. But basically it's like, um for there to be a bigger understanding of my existence and the philosophy behind why I was here, right? Which has a lot to do with my North Node. Um, which is why I took business, finance, and economics, because business, finance, and economics are the foundation of our markets. And as someone who is traditionally House of Fulani on my, what you call it, father's side, it's very important for me to understand the business of my family, right? So this way I would, as a Cancerian as well, so this way I would also understand how to recreate and be there for my culture, and also assimilate the modern day reality into the future reality with traditions of the past, in order to keep not only my legacy alive, but also keep, or my dynasty alive, but to also keep my future um, in continuance. You know what I'm saying? So it was a lot of like, this was in college, obviously university. So like, obviously, like, I'm thinking of that stuff at that point. And obviously I had to make the executive decision to, what you call it, um, actually leave art school, despite it being something that, it would be seemingly passionate for me. You know what I mean? Seemingly it would be passionate, and that's why the Lord's coming out there, because there's a seemingness of the passion, right? Of like that. And I was talking to God about this, but it was like this embrace that you have, like with the dream that you have, but it's actually a fleeting dream, because it's like, it's fleeting because you might humor it for a little bit, you might connect with it on an etheric level, but it doesn't actually substantiate to anything. And due to that, you got to really put things into perspective, that periscopal vision through your imagination, to see how it is that you could creatively create a constant for your passion to exist in that road ahead, right? This is a lot of forward thinking, a lot of foresight, a lot of deliverance, a lot of like experience and wisdom and reading and writing. And oh my gosh, so much work, which is something that they didn't do, right? That's something that they simply did not do, because not only had they been following a traditional route, but there was a heavy dependency on that being the end all be all, right? Which in their case was a fleeting dream. Because not to everyone that would work as a fleeting dream. Some people are meant to be extremely dependent on that. But just like a person with curly hair and a person with straight hair, you always want what the opposite has. You know what I mean? And that's kind of energy of like someone who is wanting to be super like, you know what I mean? All that jazz, you know what I mean? Is actually supposed to follow the super traditional route of like always being like super focused on their religion and tradition, and they might not like that. You know what I mean? Whereas someone who's super strict with themselves, you know what I mean? Super strict with themselves, super like, I gotta follow this route and only this route, and I gotta do it this way, and da, 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 might actually just need to live a little. You know what I mean? And that's how they'll be able to really grasp on. But the only way to understand who you are in the situation is by knowing who you are in the situation, which takes a lot of self-discovery, which is something that they neglected to do, which is how the curse came to be. You know what I'm saying? So self-discovery is a huge topic here, and that's what it is that breaks the curse. So it's a person who is self-discovered, aka like that's why I mentioned Jesus Christ all the time, right? Because Jesus is one of the only ones who only ever cared about self-discovery. He was the only one who was like, listen, I know your family's going through shit, but like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Like Luffy, I need to get that One Piece. All right, I like you with me or you not. Like you gotta figure it out. Like you know what I mean. So you think about it from that perspective. You know what I mean. You can really understand here what the prerogative of the situation is. You know what I mean. So it's like. You know, you imagine how annoying it is to have people cling on to someone like that, where like you're really gonna try and cling on to everything like he's trying to tell you, like let him say what he gotta say and go, bro. Like that's what it's giving. Exactly. That's why he comes after me in this energy. See what I'm saying, y'all? So it's really like obviously as he grows older and he became like the 33-year-old forever that he lives, right? Um it's more about like you know what I mean, the impact and the seriousness and everything like that. But you know, back when it was a different story. So he might be a king now, but one day, but before he was a prince, right? Before he was the prince. Is the story of Prince of Egypt? Isn't that Moses? Hold up. Wait, but like, okay, well, let's just move on, okay? It's just very endearing, okay? Very endearing, all right? Very endearment energy, very much endearment energy, which is something that's causing them a lot of anxiety. Like, they can't believe it. This is like the energies, people who aren't self-discovered, who don't believe in self-discovery, right? Just like, if you're going to talk about self and you're going to say Jesus is the one true self, then I mean, self-discovery is what it's all about, right? But they don't want to accept that. They don't want to see it that way, right? They don't want to see it that way. They don't want to see it that way. They don't want to accept it that way. I don't know. And so, like, that's where the curse came from. You know, that's their judgment. That's the final judgment for them, is that they hold a lot of like, and then you know how it is when you think one thing for so long and then you find out it was exactly what everybody was telling you all the whole time. Like, is almost like, well, then now everybody's like in silence waiting for you to laugh. And you gotta laugh. You gotta laugh. Because that's the only way. You gotta humor it. Because the situation is that like because if you don't, you're holding your heart in in heaviness, in darkness. And you know what I mean? That's something that ironically that person was really good at, right? That energy was really good at humoring situations, but the one thing that they couldn't humor was this aspect of themselves that they just couldn't see past, which is that it was their past. They couldn't see past their past. They couldn't see through their past. That's what it was going. That was what was going on. So the curse breaking in the situation has to do with seeing through your past in order to self-discover, which is why they were putting me through so much as well in my past. But hey, that's I might not have been that great at humoring myself, but I learned, I learned. um, I wasn't very funny. I wasn't finding a lot of things very funny in the past, and I promise, this is like a huge thing for me. Like, I've been trying to get into comedy for the longest time. You know, the joke I'm trying to say right now, I don't even know if it's funny or not, but I watched a lot of Kevin Hart. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Like, it's cringy. Like, I try. I try. Yeah, I try. I really do. I really do. But like, that's something I had to learn, you know what I mean? And I had to see through my past, and that's something I could do. But then humoring is something completely different. You know what I mean? It's complicated. It's it's so hard. Like, you see how I'm laughing? Like, that's God. That has to be God. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just coming out. Like, I can't make it up. That's literally me ever since I was a kid. Like, and I gotta really find the humor in the situation. Like, I don't know. It's not the fact that I can't find the humor in the situation, right? But it's the fact that I'm trying to explain to myself the joke when I'm supposed to just get it. Like, but at the same time, like, I know there's something there. I just don't understand. Like, oh my gosh, bro, I'm such a girl. Okay. I'm a girl. It's like, I'm just a girl. Okay, I'm just a girl in the world, right? Okay. So what'd you call it? Um maybe that's what it is as well. Yeah, that's putting them in some sort of, like, I don't know. That's it. Maybe that's what I'm not understanding. Maybe girls were funnier. I don't know. Bro, I don't know. This is a tower to the romanticism, or to the romanticism. Yeah, to the romanticism. Oh, okay. I see. You see, that's what I'm saying. So it's supposed to be, so it's romantic. So I think romance is funny. I know why romance is funny though. Okay. Oh, I'm just noticing this now too. Like, wait. Wait. Okay. Okay. Okay, sorry. You see how I got scared there? um, um, wait. Yo, sorry, I'm like high as hell right now. Not actually, not that I'm getting high as hell. Like, I haven't smoked anything or done anything. It's just that, like, I know the feeling. Like, I know how it feels to be high as fuck. And when I tell you joy makes you high as hell, there's nothing like joy to get you high. Okay. Because what's getting to me is, okay, I can't explain it. This is why I can't explain it. Oh, that's my humor. Oh, yeah, like, I can't. That's why they're entrapped. No way. That's what was throwing them off. Was the fact that I was still laughing. Was the fact that I was still having a grand old time. It's because, like, I could see through everything, and it was just really funny to me. No, that's what I'm saying. That's them. I caught them. Oh my gosh. That's their ass. Yeah, get them. Get them, Lord. Sorry. Like, yeah, they were trying to get into my spirit and shit. You can't do that. The fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna give that to God. Yeah, they're caught. Like, the devil has been caught in the situation. Archangel Michael's taking care of it. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like, this is what I'm saying, bro. Like, yeah, like, they don't understand. It's not my business. It's not about what they're projecting their in understanding to act as if that's what's supposed to block humor, when no, you don't have to understand a joke to get the joke, right? That's what I'm saying. That's throwing them off. So that's something that they struggled with in their youth. So they must have felt alienated. That's why I knew that's exactly what the problem was. I mean, it's giving heavy Aquarius energy. They must have felt extremely alienated, like, by everything, but they wanted to make it seem like it was must have been really traumatic. No one said that it wasn't traumatic. That's the thing. That's why they wanted to, like, be something else. That's what I'm saying. They wanted to be something else. They wanted to do something else. They wanted to act as something else. Now it's being taken away from them. That's it. They were never really supposed to be that kind of what it is that they were trying to be. That was always going to be a longer route, right? It also was an inheritance that they tried to steal, right? That's what I'm saying. That inheritance was given, okay. That inheritance was given from a different pillar. It was like it was like yeah, it was like they wanted to act as the pillar when they weren't the pillar. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's not only from one person they tried to take that gift from. It was from multiple individuals. It was like, wow, it was a lot. Anyways, the curse has been broken now. We're moving forward because that's the only way to do it. And yeah, there's the perspective, right? The periscope of the situation. Yeah, it's done. That's why it's done. So that was the activation of the cycle completing. And now there's healing coming through. This to me is like the healing energy because, well, I'm an artist, you know how it is. And so this is me invoking healing, and clearing the energy out. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense now, honestly. And yeah, what they were doing in the past is now being seen as an origin of disturbance. They're not, whatever it is that they did in the past is being seen as an origin of disturbance, because it is that we understand why they did it. We just can't, and we forgive them for why they did it too. It's just that we can't, just as much as they couldn't see past their past, we also cannot see past their past, because that's what it is that they were trying to cause for others. It was like they were trying to cause others to be stuck in the past, stuck in the past. That's the stuck in the past energy. It's like unable to see past what has been done and what they've been doing because of what's been done. You know what I mean? And all that stuff. So whether it be that the person did it to themselves or somebody did it to them, or whether it's them doing it to other people, everybody deserves a chance to move forward, right? Everybody deserves a chance to move forward from their past, no matter how genuinely dark that they might be, right? The thing about it is that the only way to truly break that curse, to truly break that karmic cycle, is to quite literally forgive yourself, which can be the hardest thing to do, right? Which is why you want to initially keep your heart clean, initially want to keep yourself pure and innocent in order so that that doesn't become a really hard task to do. You know what I mean? Okay. Okay. What'd you call it? Responsible confirmation assurance is here. Yeah, so when it comes to the goal, there's a goal in a situation, right? Purpose, expectation, destination, promised land, right? There's a promised land, there's a cornucopia, and this is what I wanted to do this reading initially about, right? I wanted to do it about activating the cornucopia for the collective consciousness cited. And what'd you call it? And yeah, and it's like releasing one off of romantic projections of others, because that's the only way we can allow ourselves to be humored. Also, is by understanding our own selves, understanding our own humor allows us to be compassionate, right? That's where the compassion comes from, is from one's own awareness of self and humor of self, right? Like, if you don't know how to humor yourself, if you don't know how to accept humor from others, right? Then yeah, sacral chakra. So flow with our desires and stimulate the creative power to manifest success and abundance in our life. I don't know why the sacral chakra energy keeps on coming out, because I've been seeing that quite often. It's supposed to be the heart chakra. So we're gonna heal that really quickly, because I think that there was a lot of that going down where it was like people were thinking that that was what it was, and that's not what it was. with divine feminine energy coming through. Divine feminine heart space is a little different than divine masculine heart space. Yeah. Heart chakra, crown chakra, and magic. See what it is? We're purifying the system. You see what I mean? We're purifying the system. We're purifying our silver. Is that better? Emergence. Okay. Okay. All right. That's what's going on. We're purifying our silver. I call for the purity of our silver. I call for purifying of silver, magic integration, divine masculine change, crown chakra. Yep. Purifying our silver, purifying our gold. Yeah, that's what's going on. Perception, healing, crown chakra, tantric journey. Yeah. So, okay. So it's like it starts from the heart, though. You know what I mean? I mean, obviously it starts from God and all that jazz, but it like the tantric journey healing only comes first from the heart before it goes to the sacral. Like that's what it is. That's the change is occurring. So like, yeah, definitely cited. Definitely false healers attempting to take on the job when there's already someone doing the job. So that's what I'm saying here as well. Yeah, Merkaba authority healing. There's like a lot of that. Remember I was saying like they wanted to enact that kind of fear, inevitable karma again, and that's not working anymore. Yeah, it's not working anymore. Tantric journey, solar plexus, yeah, it went there. It went there. Yep, universal love, discernment, belief coming through, alchemy, yeah, prosperity. Yeah, exactly. Oh, why ancestors? It's time for you to heal too. That's what we're saying here. It's time to heal. Yeah. That's why we're breaking this curse. Yeah, throat, divine feminine, earth, yeah. By living a little. Literally. So they're like trying to like, yeah, transition belief. Yep, there it is, passing through. God is good always. The Most High. The Most High. That is God, the most pure. That is being. He is not only the center, he is also all that is and isn't. In all and every each way be. Yeah. And it's like, that's why we adhere to his structure and his command. For that is the only way we can find comfort. Yeah. So communication, divine masculine, it's supposed to go crown, third eye, heart. So we saw the third eye, but it kept on going throat. Yeah. Then third eye. So there's belief. So it's supposed to go crown, third eye, and it's supposed to go towards throat. And then past throat, it goes towards heart, then solar plexus, and then sacral chakra, and then root chakra. But there's a lot of, see solar plexus after it got from, so now it's going heart to solar plexus connection is steady. Third eye to throat chakra connection is steady, but what'd you call it? But heart to solar plexus connection is steady. I already said that. It goes, yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying now? Universal communication is literally Jesus coming through to heal. What'd you call it? On with Gaia energy, so on earth energy sided. Also, there's what'd you call it? See, I'm like so heart to throat chakra to heart chakra, throat chakra to heart chakra, earth to heaven, heaven to earth, heaven to earth, earth to heaven. Heaven to earth, earth to heaven. Hello. Hello. Communication, there it is, cosmic flower. And this is what it was. Remember perception? So cosmic flower energy needs to be reactivated, healed, and activated. So what's going on with that cosmic flower energy? We talked about this before. Wilting. There's something that was being projected on wilting energy. Introvert, alliance. Yeah, sweetheart in reverse. What is that energy? So it's like spoilage, wilting, yeah, but there's immunity again, like immunity away from it. So it's like people may not understand like community energy, like it may really be affecting them, but they don't also understand like how kind and merciful the Most High really is. Like just because God isn't truly really affected the way that you think you would be affected by it doesn't mean that it doesn't really, you know what I mean, pull some heartstrings. You know what I mean? At least on a conceptual level, right? Perseverance is why it's so mean to do what it is that they just to like only to manipulate the most. Like it's so fucked up. Like, you know what I mean? But that's why sweetheart energy is here. It's like there's some individuals. Yeah, look at that bully. Dang, I almost choked. um, this one is hard, y'all. This one is hard. When you return energy back to sender through your throat chakra, it may sound like, I don't know how to explain this, bro. Because it's a joke. Is that a joke as well? Wait, let me add it first. Yeah, okay, so it's been caught. So what would you call it? I don't even know. Oh, I didn't choke this time. Yeah, I don't even know what that was. Yeah. So it's like there it is. So it's like some sort of like, huh? God, bro, like I don't even know how to laugh at that is what it is. I don't even know how to laugh at that. I'm still learning to laugh at that, which is why you saw what that is. Um, I don't really know how to laugh at that energy because it's like what is that, bro? It's more so like when someone tells you a joke and you don't really hear it. You're like, "What?" Like, you know what I mean? That's kind of what it's giving. It's not like I wouldn't, you know, it's like I'm not here, I'm not seeing it, I'm not understand, I'm like not hearing it. It seems to be maybe a curse of a joke of a curse. So the curse is joking. Like, just give me a second. Like it's like teasing. That's what it is. Teasing. Oh. Oh. Yeah, that's what was happening. Oh my gosh, I just remembered now. It's tickle. It's tickling. They wanted to curse the laughter from tickles. Man, I like trained myself not to laugh when I get tickled cuz it was like getting painful. My uncle used to tickle me a lot. He like now I get it is because I was always really sad. He probably saw me real motherfucking depressed, overthinking, like all that jazz. So he would like tickle me. Yeah, my father used to tickle me a lot too. My father used to tickle me. My step pop used to tickle me, and my uncle used to tickle me. Those are like my father figures in my life. Yeah, it wasn't much of a distraction. It's not that I wouldn't remember it. It's like I do remember it, and I always appreciate it. But it's like I was always hyper aware of why they were doing it, which I didn't like. That's what I didn't like about it. It's like I knew that they were taking on themselves more than they had to, but they were it's not like they were not righteous in themselves, like trying to elevate my pain, right? Because I was a kid. Like that's what you do when you got a kid. You know what I mean? But I was a little more let me at it. Like I was a little more like let me be the one to deal with this because you are more important than yeah, maybe that's what it is that they were trying to take off of me is making others more important than myself, which I ended up not doing. I ended up not doing that. Like I ended up growing up not thinking that other people were more important than me because I used to get tickled a lot every time I think about it. that's that's a kind of privilege that I can't really yeah, see trap in reverse. That's why I was never trapped. So I remember, but the thing about it was I taught myself how not to laugh, not because of only that, but because the person, the narc in the situation would tickle me, but they would do it to like molest me. You know what I mean? They would do like that's why whenever I would say it and you would cringe a little or you feel like there's some sort of cringe or where is that cringe coming from? That's where it's coming from. So yeah, so definitely back to center in that one. But that's their energy. So you know what I mean? The person who was all vengeful and shit. It was like they would like yeah, it's like there's a difference. That's why I wasn't trapped in a situation as well. Yeah, the trap is in reverse. It's back to sender on them. On that trap, they're trapped in that energy. Yeah, calm in reverse. Yeah. It's like when you have other references of people treating you good, like, you know what I mean? Then someone pretending to treat you good in order to do something underhanded to you becomes annulled because then you know how to react. You know what I mean? It's like it doesn't become like as threatening to back away from that because you know how the original feeling feels like, which is what I've been trying to give to the collective. I've been trying to show you guys the original, right? I've been trying to show you there's the original energy of something so you can really understand like how something feels like. And then later on, you know when someone's bullshitting you. That's it. Even if they're doing the exact same thing, it's that you can feel their intention is not the same. Cosmic flower activates our remembrance of the place we call home, the core of which we pour our magnificence out into the world. There you go. You see what I'm saying? That's an activation of my cosmic flower, which means that my cosmic flower is fully good and preserved and everything. However, for that person, their cosmic flower is wilted or and had been wilting or had been projected to wilt or whatever it was that they were trying to make it seem like whatever it was. Yeah, friendships, that's what it was. So to them or to over those people who were projecting those curses, it was about friendship for them. For me, like that was friendship with the divine, right? That was friendship with the divine. Like me seeing that, you know what I mean? Experiencing, because allies is here. Allies is here. See, introvert, because I always was an introvert, right? I only ever, would you call it, experience life with my family. And so I never really experienced life with friends, but I would see them as allies. You see what I mean? Which would really hurt whenever someone I felt was like inside the family would, you know what I mean, betray me because then I would see that they were never an ally, but an enemy of the family. You see what I'm talking about? And so it's like, there you go, see, enemy. And so, what'd you call it? They were always an enemy, yeah, and they never brought any joy, which was very a tell sign that they were an enemy, right? They never really brought any joy, and yeah, but it's okay. We're away from that. We're away from that now. It's about when it came to allyship and what it is that is the core of how we remember ourselves in the world, right? Allowing for our perceptions. Okay, so guys, our perceptions of self to adhere to our pathway, our soul journey. So soul time makes sense now because it's like soul journey, soul time. Okay. I usually say, yeah, cited. I usually would have seen it as like, oh, the time we spend with our souls. but now I see it as the journey of our souls. So like our pathway, the perception of our pathway is what manifests it. Okay. Alchemy keeps coming out, which says remembrance of the magic that we hold inside. Remember, each of us has the potential to access the ancient knowledge that allows us true alchemists to perform the miracle of transmutation. So it's a specific there. I don't really like this card specifically because alchemy is the art of Egypt rather than transmutation, only transmutation. There's also transformation, translocation, transference, transisting, you know what I mean? There's a lot of physics. It's alchemy is basically physics, philosophy, biology, math, right? Chemistry, all of that. But it's like the performance of it was called alchemy. But that in itself, I can't explain it. Because Dante's Inferno says that he doesn't like alchemists, but I don't know if that's like, I don't like that that's true. Like, hold on one second. Yeah, exactly. It's more like the principles. And he it is who sends the wind as glad tidings before his mercy, and we send down pure water from the sky, that we may receive dead land and give drink to what we created, right? So death into life, or sorry, bringing life through death, and dryness into water. Okay, basically bringing health to through I don't know. Okay. He sends down water from the sky, and the valleys flow according to their measure. Thus, Allah set forth parables for men. Refinement. See, refinement is also technically, yeah, from dross falsehood. Refining. See, pure metal. This is what I was talking about. He sends down water from the sky, and valleys flow according to their measure. Thus does Allah set forth parables for men. So you see what I'm talking about? So the pure are silver, the clearer our speech. Yeah, that's what's coming through. That's what's coming through. Yeah, that's how we can purify our throat chakra. You see what I'm talking about? And so, Arabic word alchemia. So this is a completely different word. Alchemia, the art of fusing metals. Let me find out that these motherfucking. So that's it, the art of fusing metals. That's exactly what I'm saying here. That's what I'm saying here. That's exactly what I'm talking about now. So okay. So you see, I rebuke all of that energy. Like honestly, like I told you guys, I'm still learning. There's a lot that I'm still learning. Like I could go back to my past videos and be like, man, this cringe as hell. I'm like just. But I'm trying to show you guys that no matter how much you really know something, things really do be changing like that. Like you might know something and it'll be exactly that for a very long time, and then all of a sudden it changes. Like I shit you not. So it's always important to remain flexible. It's always important to remain flexible. Like you don't even know how scary. That's why it's so scary, because sometimes like that's why when people try to like, but the truth in itself is already like solid, it's already tangible, it's already clear, right? We ought to know that it is what the expression of the truth is that varies. The truth itself is pure and never changing. The expression of truth, however, is ever changing. However, it might always be pure as well. Amen. Let's just keep it that way. So basically, art of fusing metals, chemia. It's like chemia. By the way, chemia. That's chemical or chemistry in Russian. So that's why I do it that way. in case you guys want to know why I love Russian. So basically, yes. So our silver and our gold, right? Like comes together, our soul power and our ether power, our etheric self and our soul truth comes together and allows us to communicate, speak, because that's like, you know what I mean? It's a divine gift from the most high God, okay? It's like if you think about when people think of angels, the romanticized versions of angels are like that they can speak, like that they speak, you know what I mean, in speech and tongue. But let me see if I want to make sure because there's that debatable, the arena to debate. Okay. So basically, yeah, they do speak. So yeah, we can understand. Yeah, exactly. So, although angels can speak to humans, there's a different, like, there's a, they themselves, like, or angels, ourselves as well, also, like, speak in, like, in a, it's in a different form. It's in a different form. It's just, it's not quite different. It's in a, I don't know how to explain difference. Like, how do you say different, but it's not different? It's I can use different. Is like I can say like they speak sighted through various means. Yeah, through various means of communication. Okay, that's what it is. So basically, that's what I'm trying to say. So angels speak through various means of communication. Humans speak through various means of communication. However, that they are similar but not the same kind of energy. That's the energy. But yeah. Um however, people really ought to like motherfuckers need to get a grip on reality. We are not animals, okay? We are just not animals, all right? I don't know what to tell you, but motherfuckers always want to be like, yeah, like they always want to forget because this is another thing too. I'm pretty sure we're more tree than we are animal. That's another thing. So do with that what you will. So yeah. So what are we on right now, Holy Spirit? Where are we moving on to? So throat chakra. We're connecting throat chakra to what you call it? Heart chakra to throat chakra energy. How is that going? Soul time, soul journey, okay. Perception, yeah. Solar plexus, okay. You know what it's giving? It's giving that guy, like the light beam guy from My Hero Academia, which I also started watching again. And it's like the guy who like has the light beam on his belly and he goes ah! Like that, and he just like has the ray of light. That's kind of like that's what I'm seeing. And it's like the light that pulls you. That's not what his power is, but like it's like that's the light that pulls you to the right direction. But option there. So does the because there's blue and green here. So I'm seeing, let's see, beyond comfort zone, to find the edges of what we must perceive as real and take a good, hard, deep look at it, moving beyond our comfort zone. So, understanding, by the way, beyond your comfort zone doesn't mean that you're not in your comfort zone. It means that you're moving beyond it, you're expanding your comfort zone. That's what that means. Whereas, like someone like me who doesn't have a comfort zone yet, I haven't gotten to a comfort zone yet. I'm still very much here in myself. All right, you know what I mean? I haven't really expanded outwards yet. I'm still like in my little cocoon. And yeah, crown chakra, miracle, communication, passion, and earth. Yeah, so like, yeah, I'm getting assistance for sure in communicating. So there's something about my throat chakra or something about, I don't know, this healing. Okay, emergence, because synergy, it's like I'm still, is it purifying or I'm mastering it? Yeah, heart chakra. It's like something, I saw the blue there, but empowerment. Yeah, there's still a lot going on. Coherence when it comes to me and my throat chakra. I mean, there's nobody really here watching this on my channel right now. Usually there's 1 or 2, maybe even 4 views, and like sometimes I get 20. That one's like, wow. You know what I mean? But there used to be a time where I used to get um thousands of views. I remember on my other videos, right? But that's why it's like I almost don't know what to say. You see what I'm saying? I almost don't know what to say. It's like yeah, I don't know what to say. How could I? How could I have anything to say? You know, in my head, I have to have someone to say it to, right? And then at the same time, I'm only ever speaking directly to God because that's who is the one who ever listens, you know. God is good always, God is real. And so like obviously I speak to the angels, I speak to the ancestors, I speak to, you know, Jesus. I speak to all God's creatures, right? That, you know, come forth to speak to me. You know what I mean? Like I said, I would still, you know what I mean, speak to, you know what I mean? But speaking out, I wouldn't know what to say. Help? Help me, please. That's please help. That's about it. That's all I have to say. I don't know how else to. Yeah, that's all I got. See dynamic consciousness, see compassion, communication, compassion, heart chakra. You see what I mean? Passion, belief, and fertility. See what I'm saying? It's not, none of it is throat though. None of it is my throat chakra. Like that might be what, you know what I mean? My heart is saying, so to help activate my throat chakra, but I don't really. Oh, I used to sing, right? Conception, earth, yeah. That's what it is. I used to sing all the time. That's another thing. Healing. I'm healing my song. Yeah, divine masculine prosperity, third eye chakra communication. Yeah, allowance, passion, conception, compassion, magic. There it is again. Communication, heart chakra, dynamic healing, delight, allowance, fertility. See what I'm saying? And that's how they take it. That's why I haven't been singing. Cuz every time I'm about to sing, they try to harvest off of me. You see what I'm talking about now? I was just conceptualizing me about to sing, and they were just about to literally curse me for that. Literally. And then I'm giving it back to God. Like I have to give it back to God, allow its permission back to God. Because they like, see, romantic love, my markaba. Because it's like they're not letting me do it. They're constantly throwing stuff at me. See, and it's like my heart is even healing because I'm recognizing this. I don't know how to explain it. I'm just quiet. Like, I'm literally silent. Emergence, healing, passion, allowance, conception, emergence, Merkaba. Yeah, protect my silver, my gold. Protect my precious metals, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father, please. Yeah, throat chakra. There it is. See, prayer. I start praying and it comes out. Yeah, look, realization, conception, in reverse. Yeah, I knew it. It's like they're not realizing the concept of themselves. They don't see themselves. Like, they're not on their own pathway. It's like they've never seen themselves as they were. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Cited. Some, like, I don't care for... Now, this is the thing about curse breaking, right? Like I said, you can break a curse off of someone, right? So that they're not repeating the same karmic cycle, right? But that does not guarantee that they're not gonna go through another karmic cycle, or that they're not gonna have to pay their karmic debt. They're still gonna have to pay their karmic debt. They still have to pay karma. They still have to do what they gotta do, even if the karmic cycle is broken. You see what I'm talking about now? Realization with conception, both in reverse, are basically not belonging energy. Energy that doesn't belong. That's that energy of, you know something here. I'm going to have to solve this equation myself really quickly, because I feel like that's the only way to do it right now. Okay? So let's see this right here. I've got Jupiter and Uranus there. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Is that Neptune? Oh. Neptune and Uranus. I just saw what house it was. Duh. Okay, here it is. I got you right now. So you're telling me this is what Neptune and Uranus sound like? Oh, snap. Hold on one second. I started ascending super quickly. Oh, wait. Whew. Like, is that what it is? That actually freaked me out. Hold on. like, you don't even understand. I started getting out of my body there for a second. I don't know what that was. Okay, Neptune. Ooh. My cat really liked that. Like, she's really feeling it. Oh my gosh, I thought her tail was a paw for a second. That scared me. It like conjoined there for a second. It was freaking me out. Okay. So perception. I'm gonna read the air. Non-linear. Okay. You see, hyper aware is what I was saying. Oh. There it is. Impatient with slow thinkers. Sound like a kid. Okay, so what's the message when it comes to this? Yeah, clearly my throat chakra is activating. Right, clearly it's like something is working. Okay, this is like this. Alignment when it comes to values, synchronicities. Yeah, that energy curse broke. Healing. They're calling for healing, but that's not my job. It's not my job. Hey, it's not my job to heal. I'm an initiator. I'll initiate, but the rest is is by yourself. I'll give you the little to heal, but that's it. That's all I can help you with. Yeah. Yeah, I'll give you the pill, but you gotta swallow it. So basically, that's what they can't realize or something like that. Yeah, no, we're gonna use this card deck right here. So there's like they can't. I don't know. There's some concept of realization they can't realize. I don't know how to explain this to you guys. Realizing something is a power in itself. Okay. Internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. You see what I'm saying? So it's like our internalized understanding integrated with our external processing of reality. So it's like we understand inside how we feel, whatever it is that we process inside, and then we express outward our understanding in an integral way with the reality that is already, without attempting to shape shift or turn everything in order for us to express it. You know what I mean? It's like adaptation. Realization is a form of adaptation. Okay, which is why conception is here as well. Okay, which has to do with the frequency of conception invites us to bring our consciousness to our origin, the place where everything in creation begins. It helps us to remember the infinite potential and possibilities of this space and what we can manifest through our focused awareness and intention. You see what I'm saying? Conceptualizing only occurs when when there's integrity between self and reality. So once that there's realization with the external reality that exists and our internal adaptation of it, we literally through that holy trinity understanding of it, literally conceptualize the existence of something other than ourselves, which would be the energy of birthing, which is why it's divine feminine energy, right? Because that's divine feminine is the master of giving birth, right? Which is the energy of mastery over conceptualization. Yeah. So that's now it's like in root chakra, but it hasn't gone through sacral yet. Exactly. It hasn't gone through sacral yet. So that's what I'm saying. It's like sacral energy. Okay, right. Because I'm obviously okay, yeah, right. This makes sense. Integrating divine feminine energy with reality. So yada yada, third eye chakra, authority. Okay, it's making sense. So basically, it's like consciousness, passion, dynamic, coherence. This is me conceptualizing the next things I'm gonna be saying, the next communication you're gonna be getting from me, right? With compassion, dynamic. This was me emerging with it, right? And then this is me interpreting it into, because the reality is that there are slow thinkers in this world, and I'm not gonna let that get to me. I'm not gonna let it get to me. Okay. So basically that's what it is here. Okay. Now I understand. Okay, so this is me empathizing with that, all right? So it's not that I don't care, it's that I didn't know. Okay, that's not an excuse. Okay, it's not that I don't care or that I didn't know. It's that it hadn't come clear to me, right? To explain to you how it was coming across, it's more so like those who couldn't realize and conceptualize didn't care. You see what I mean? It's like those who didn't know how important fertility is, and those who don't know how important conceptualizing is, and those who don't know, like they don't know. like, and they're not kids or anything like that, is the fact that they hadn't realized it, right? That's their whole thing, is that they hadn't realized it. But also projecting pain on people that they don't realize for. Yeah. So that's another thing of like, don't teach a mother how to cook her, whoa, don't teach a hen how to lay her eggs kind of energy. It's like, you, like a collective, some people, they don't bread with you, they don't give you your bread. That's what it is. They don't bread you, right? They don't bread you. And but they're trying to realize free, they're trying to give you what you're going to be using your bread for. You see what I'm talking about now? So it's like, you realizing something for yourself, and then there being a purpose for that, and then individuals not knowing how it is that you've come to produce what it is that you're producing, attempting to take the purpose away from what you've produced so that they can replace what you would be doing with it with what they want done. You see what I'm talking about? That's how it came across. Not that they were just slow thinkers. You know what I mean? It was more so that there was an internal agenda without the respect. Why respect is so important. Why I'm like, respect. Respect. Where's the respect? You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And so, because they don't know what went down, doesn't mean that they now are, because they don't know, they get disrespect, which is where I'm coming from. You know what I mean? Where I'm saying, well, that's not an excuse, right? I can't say because I didn't know that now I got to be like, I don't care. The reality was that I didn't care because of that. But I'm not holding a grudge on that. I'm letting it go. Can you see? I'm letting it go. You see, me doesn't me letting it go. I don't give a fuck anymore. See, there's no nightmare. It's fine. It's all okay. I don't even know why. You know what I mean? But we're letting it go. We're moving forward. Yeah, I had to flip it over. What'd you call it? But we're moving forward because we got stuff to do. You know what I mean? We got memories here, actually good ones, right? Where, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Memories. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, there's good memories here in this energy, because it's not with their disrespect. So we're not affected by their disrespect. Thus, we can excuse them out. You know what I mean? Excuse them out. Yeah, you see, not compromise. Excuse them out for their non-triumph in that specific fear in which that they have a nightmare in. You see what I'm talking about now? You see what I'm talking about now? You see what I'm talking about now? It's like they're the ones comparing themselves to us. We are not comparing ourselves to them. You see what I'm saying? That this is not the arena for that performance. There's something else here. It's like there's a realization conception here. It has to do with what was once deceptive, which can no longer hold its veil, right? So yeah, there's a consciousness, this consciousness of some sort of prosperity here. So it's conscious of prosperity. It's like a high vibrational idealism, right? Idealism. So there's idealism within a situation. Idealism. That's where my comfort is, in idealism. All right. I'm just gonna like say it right away. In idealism. Okay. So not everybody understands idealism, right? Idealism. Okay. So idealism is what'd you call it? The doctrine or belief concerned with ideas or the reality of ideas. So basically the belief that the idea, not the material, is the foundation of truth or perfection. Okay? So not the material, but the idea is the foundation of truth or perfection. See what I mean? So it's like the idea itself, the inspiration, right? The passion that comes from it, right? The sanctification and truth through it, and then the what was it again? And the vision that builds around it is what the perfection comes from. And that's the purest it could be. The idea of something is the purest it could be, right? That's what I'm saying. Everything that is in heaven is far richer than here on earth. That's the truth. Because God created the heavens and the earth, right? And the heavens he created in through the perfection of it, while earth is for the humans. So you see what I'm saying? So earth is for the humans, and heaven is for the angels, and what you call it, kingdom is the bridge, I believe. But that's my belief. You see what I'm saying? Because to me, because the guy, because I'm an idealist, right? I see that God and his idea of kingdom is what is the foundation of the perfection, not what we make of it or how we would like to interpret it. You see what I'm saying now? So an art that I could create is never as good as the origins of its inspiration. You see what I mean? What inspires the art is already closer to perfection than anything I could interpret of it. You see what I'm saying? So it's like so many dimensions apart. That's what it is. It's not difference. It's dimensions apart, right? There's so many dimensions and layers to it. It doesn't mean that the art form isn't pure. It's just that for it to be pure, it has to be purified. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of that going on. So basically, I don't know why I went on this huge tangent, but basically, yeah, inspiration. So this is there's inspiration, there's acceptance, right? And then there it is. That's that energy right there, unable to realize. So they don't know how to make their idealistic ideations or their ideations in general come to material, come to be. But to me, it's like you can't. Like you got to understand that you can't. You that's not something you can do, right? You can only go so far with an idea because it will always stick to the dimension it's supposed to exist in, right? Which is why I mentioned that curse, and that's why I felt that's why I felt that sorriness. I felt that sorrow for a second there. I was like, dang, like, that's what they were going through. Because the truth of the situation is that, like, something that is so ideal and perfect and all that cannot exist in its true form in a completely different dimension where it doesn't belong. You know what I mean? You're taking a fish out of water and you're confused why it's dying. You know what I mean? That's basically the energy. And it's like, that's the same thing when it comes to anything that we create here on earth, which is why miracles are so rare in itself. At the same time, they're so sparse, like it's so much of reality is a miracle. But at the same time, that's the only thing that really exists in reality, especially for humans, are miracles. Especially someone like me, miracles are the only thing that are real, because that's the only way to really have something perform in its idealistic way in purity. Yeah. But like, yeah, like there's an incapacity for something to exist. It's like I said, something isn't the right environment, and that's why something was wilting. I mentioned this, but that isn't, like, that's where I came in and said that's not my responsibility, because it isn't my responsibility. It's how do I explain this? It's it's one's own responsibility, because that's the only way to go through the journey. You can't make somebody else go through your journey and then give you the destination at the end. You see what I'm saying? Like, a surrogate can be a surrogate, but she's the one who experiences the joy of pregnancy, not the person who gets the child. You see what I'm saying? It's like someone wanted to get a surrogate and then experience their joy of pregnancy. Like, that's not how it works. You see, like, that's what I'm saying here. It's like, yeah, that's just not how it works. And I mean, you can ask God for that miracle to experience the joy of pregnancy with. But that's why marriage is so important. You know what I'm talking about? Like, you gotta, because that's the closest. You see what I'm talking about? That's the closest. And I just saw, like, the throat chakra, and the heart chakra. Oh, and sorry, the crown chakra, the heart chakra, and yeah, coherence, allowance. So miracle, coherence, heart chakra, passion, crown chakra, prosperity, romantic love, passion, earth, dynamic, integration, divine masculine, prosperity, sacral chakra. There it is, tantric journey. But we didn't go through the throat chakra that time. But the tantric journey, sacral chakra, energy. So they were trying to cover that up. So they were trying to act like they understood, or that they were the ones that were supposed to feel the stimulus of the tantric journey. This is like, those are the individuals that keep doing like the sex magic bullshit stuff, right? They're the ones that were, okay, so we're breaking another curse here, you guys. This is another curse, right? This is like the energy of someone wanting to feel pleasure from somebody else having sex kind of energy. Yeah, that's like the same thing I was saying. It's like sacral chakra, tantric journey. The tantric journey isn't something that they can experience the same way that they can't experience pregnancy, right? That's not, it's the same thing. They might believe or think or delude themselves to believing that it's just sex, but it's not, okay? The tantric journey has to do with the integration of body, mind, and soul, and the oneness in that, connecting with another person's oneness. It has to do with duality becoming one. And then also, when there's conception with that energy, so let's say there's two becoming one, and then there's conception, there's a fated event, a miracle supposed to happen where there's supposed to be a child in that situation. Through a tantric experience, that child becomes godly. Like when I tell you that child develops like because it's like silver gold from both parents, and then the combination of that and the child's purity, it's, oh my gosh, that's how you give birth to a prophet. Honestly, that's just, you know what I mean? I'm just saying. But like, that's why also you can't, like, a third part, somebody else can't experience that. Like, somebody else can't experience that true benevolence of the tantric journey experience. They can't siphon from it. That's why I never really understood why people would say like things like sex magic. Because to me, what I thought about sex magic was like the magical feeling that you get from an orgasm. You know what I mean? That's the closest that I could see. I could interpret that to be. But understanding now what magic really is, like in its quantum form, what it really is, and not our, you know what I mean, fucking ooga booga mind about it. You know what I mean? It's it's what you call it, it's the quantum entanglement of our spiritual essence intertwining with another. It's kind of like Archangel Gabriel's, okay, this, I don't mean this crudely or anything like that. Archangel Gabriel knows this, and Archangel knows this as well. So it's like their wand, or his wand, which is like what'd you call it, it's like the two snakes combining, right, which is the kundalini, right, the kundalini awakening and the connection to the source as one, which is why romantic love came out. There's just no way you can mirror that. There's just no way, because the false mirror will shatter every time. Only it's coming from God directly. It's an experience only from God. So they can't take that. It's like weird. I don't know how else to I don't know how to explain this, bro. It's a divine blessing as well. Right, exactly. Look, robbery. Look at them. There's also no way that you can't force a tantric experience either. Like, they're so, what is it called? They're trying to take perseverance for granted. Like, they're trying to act like some sort of perseverance is for them, like it's for granted or some shit like that, right? It's pissing me off. Yeah, protest. It's being protested. Because the reality of the situation is that, like I said, magic mystery ceremony is God. God is the one. They're trying to circumvent, like I don't know how to explain this. Oh my God, bro. I don't know. This is what's pissing me off. This is how they do it. This is how they want me not to unlock this is how they try to lock so they're the ones putting locks on my chakras. These locks aren't even my own. I thought they were from you, God. What's going on? So they were, but they were unlocked. So then they tried to lock it up with like false triumph, or like not triumphing. So they were the ones who get the fucking take all false locks off of me, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father. All locks off of me, please. Amen. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Please break all false locks off of me. Yeah, what is that? False gates, false locks, all that gatekeeping bullshit. What the fuck is that? Right? Like, aid. Yeah, aid, gain. Right, there it is. Loss. See what I'm saying? They were trying to make it seem like there would have been no reason for God to assist me in a situation. But it's their loss. Like, that's really what it is. Like, they're trying to, that's how they were trying to make it seem like as if that they were God, because to make it seem like as if that God wouldn't let them lose in a situation. Now that's arrogant. Yeah. Yeah, relaxation in reverse, hesitation, introvert. There it is. Confusion, decision, worry. Yeah. Hella confusion. They were really confused. They were confused why it was that they could only they couldn't realize something for themselves. Like, so they were attempting to lock me up, like to act as if that's why they couldn't envision something for themselves. Like they couldn't do something for themselves because that's like this is where they're trying to find blame at, like to blame me for why they couldn't realize some shit. Some on some like whatever. I can't do anything about that. They're bitter. That's why the cosmic flower was in reverse. Like there's nothing I can do about that. They're bitter. They got God permission to make them not bitter anymore. That's why sweetheart was in reverse. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that's why I wasn't seeing it. Yeah, the pride is falling in the situation. Yeah, we're moving on forward. Yeah, this is an accident. But that's it. That's about it. Commitment. Yeah, they were trying to like deliver somebody else's fate as their own or something. And like I said, they were doing that. They weren't actually delivering somebody else's fate as their own. Oh, they were lying to themselves, is what I'm trying to say here. Oh my God. They were lying to themselves. They can't go ahead and deliver somebody else's fate. That's stupid. That's stupidity in action. I don't know what else to tell you if you don't understand it. Go and be bitter at somebody else, somewhere else. That's why it's a loss. Motherfucker is losing. Looking at me, losing, trying to beat somebody else, losing. Motherfuckers losing themselves, wondering how being somebody else is making them lose themselves. How are you not seeing it? How are you not seeing that? How are you not seeing how pretending to be somebody else in your own life makes you lose yourself? How are you not seeing that? You lose yourself in trying to be somebody else. That's how it works. That's logic. Justice. Yeah, I'm saying. And there's the idea, by the way, idealism. Yeah, this is where they're getting confused at with inspiration, suggestion, and vision. You know, idealism is let's do it again. It's the belief that the idea, not the material, is the foundation of truth or perception. You see what I'm saying? That's what idealism is. It's not when you want your idea of what you want to come true as how you want it to be. That's not idealism. That's unrealistic. That's what that is. It's unrealistic. But idealism is the belief that the idea. So I'm not saying that what you want, the idea of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get, isn't valuable. In fact, that's what I'm saying, is that it is invaluable. You see what I'm saying? That in itself is magical to me. I respect the fact that you can think of something like that. I respect the fact that you can pick up what God is putting down for you. Now, trying to get it done, that's materialistic. That's the person trying to be materialistic. That's them trying to materialize an idea that's already perfect. You see what I'm saying? that is gonna put me in the that's gonna put me in a mood, because now I'm like, I don't know how you're planning on getting something and that's already perfect into the material presence where everything is imperfect. You know what I mean? The material world is kind of imperfect. You know, the earth is imperfect. It's made for humans. It's made to mirror our feelings, our imperfections. You know what I mean? It's not meant to mirror the perfect, idealistic, amazing, see, idealistic, the amazing perfection that is heaven. You see what I'm saying? It's not gonna work out that way. And it's like they're trying to make fallen angels exist on earth, and then they're confused about why they're evil. On some Lilith shit. On some Luciferian shit. Like, you know what I mean? And it's a mirror, it's a projection, it's fake, it's not real. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna happen that way, especially not anymore. I mean, especially since God literally made earth angels to be. Literally, God made us earth angels. So it's like we are the pillars, like we understand this. Like, you know what I mean? Hi. There's just nothing you can do about situations like that, because it's like I said, it's like I'm speaking to, you see what I mean? I'm speaking to you, guys collective. I'm speaking to you. I'm speaking to God. I'm speaking to those whom it may concern. I'm speaking to a whole bunch of energies and individuals and divine beings and dimensions out here. But one thing I'm not doing is speaking out. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what out is to speak. How do I speak out? How do I speak out, God? How do I speak out, Holy Spirit, Heavenly Father? How do I speak out? Because isn't that just singing? Because I tried that and it doesn't seem to be what people are explaining to me. I don't really get it. Adventure. Oh. You're talking about it, not a crusade. Sorry, not a crusade. You're talking about a exhibition. So I'm being asked to make an exhibition is what it is. That's how I speak out. Okay, I see what it is. I'm being asked to make an exhibition. That's what they're so confused about. They're so confused about why I'm not doing traditional things, that utilizing the traditional understandings of and the reality of the situation is because I too felt alienated. That's what I'm saying in this situation. I too, but how am I going to say that? How am I going to say that and not be doing what it is that they like did, right? For example, my truth doesn't come out through words. It comes out through art. It comes out through the expression of its true, authentic, because I'm an idealist. Man, let me be myself. Huh? People pissing me off. It's the energy of it. It's the energy of it. I can feel it. I can feel it before it even comes, right? Fate to receive mercy. Yeah, exactly. It's like they're not understanding how I'm so receptive of God's mercy. And I'm like, well, because God's mercy is kind of the best thing that ever could exist. Like, you see what I mean? Like, I can't help it. Like, that's me. That's who I am. Like, I'm like, God's mercy, I don't even know what that is. Like, literally, idea. Like, you see what I mean? I'm like, shit, let's see, good news. You see what I'm talking about? To me, the fact that I can't even fathom what that is means that it's so much more unfathomable and great. Like, that puts me in, like, you know what I mean? That puts me inside, like, the energy of, like, you know, inspiration. Like, that puts me in the energy of being inspired. And so, like, yeah, I'm gonna see how that works out. That's God's promise to me. I'm gonna just see how that works out. Because I can't really say just because there's tests right now, so I don't want to really, you know what I mean? I don't want to really, yeah, stubbornness, yeah, exactly. By the enemy is super stubborn right now, right? They're in the energy of not hearing it. Like I said, they don't want to hear it. They're blocking everything out. They don't want to hear anything. They want to cause conflict. They want conflict. The only thing that they want to hear is if there's conflict. If I'm praying, if I'm like speaking good, if I'm like, but if I'm like, fuck you, bitch, I hope you die, nigga, then they're always listening. They're always listening for some reason. Isn't that funny? But like, if I'm like, no, I love God and God's mercy be upon me and all those around me, and I love everyone and I hope everybody lives a good life, and da 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 da, they're like, nah, fuck that bitch, da, 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 immediately. Isn't that funny? Isn't that crazy how that happens? So, anyways, yeah, because they're not immune. They're not immune to the same bullying that they've been bullying me with is what it is. So they can't persevere through a good night's sleep is what it is. They're not resting easy after that, huh? That's their karma. Like I said, there's nothing I can do about that. It's their karma. They're gonna have to pay it up. You know, I can only break the karmic curse, like as in to keep going through karmic cycles. I can't help you pay your karma though. I ain't gonna do that shit. That's bullshit. See, overload. You think you're the only one overloaded by it. We too are overloaded by it. That's why we don't do the same thing. That's why we don't do them karmic bullshittery. Cause then we know we'll be overloaded. It's like we know if we put our hands over the fire, that our hands will get burnt. So we don't know why you did it. You did it because you thought, I don't know. You did it because you thought you were not gonna get your hands burnt. Isn't that right? You thought that bullying somebody wasn't gonna give you any consequences, right? So now when you have to deal with the overload of experiencing the karma from the bullying that you done bullied, why are you looking at me, someone who doesn't bully anyone, as if I now got to suffer the same overload that you've? Isn't that more of the bullying that you're trying to cause? That's what I'm saying. That's why it's a curse. Only thing I can do is break it. Only thing I can do is suggest to you that you don't keep on doing it. As in you pay the karma that you have. Get repentance, learn to do better, grow, evolve, ask for forgiveness. You don't have to ask for forgiveness from me. Don't just know I already forgave you. Just know I already forgave you. I done forgave you a long time ago. But you, if you want to take advantage of that and abuse that, that's on you. That's why you got debt. Like that's it. What you call it? Yeah, because they feel like at a loss of like the consistency of, yeah, just like stability of consistency, because consistency breeds stability. Consistency of communication, consistency of judgment, consistency of faith, consistency of love, consistency of honor. And that's what they're trying to block for others, like families here. Yeah, because they thought it was for granted. That's what I'm trying to say. It's someone who thinks that all this shit is for granted. Like family is for granted, or love is for granted, or like you just get these things and you just get to always have them forever and just do whatever you want to it, and that'll never go away. Yes, it fucking will, bruh. Anything, the ground beneath you could swallow you the fuck up if it doesn't like you. That's the truth. You could be walking out, and if the cloud doesn't like you, it's gonna strike you. That's it. Like, that's it. Then you get fucking lightning. You know what I mean? Then thunder, like lightning will strike you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say here. God forbid that for you guys collective, but that's how it works. It's like that's the energy of being cursed. It's like if you aren't in good standing with like the energy around you, or the people around you, or the good energies, those that are in high vibrations, if you're not in good spirits and you're not acknowledged by good spirits, then inevitably all that you will get affected by are indeed bad spirits. Every time someone is mad, it's always you they're getting mad at. Every time someone doesn't like how they did their hair, it's you they're blaming. You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's the effect of bad spirits. But that's not my karma. That's the thing. I don't know how to explain this, y'all, but that's just not my karma. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, exactly. You see what I'm saying? That is something that's the experience that I was supposed to be experiencing is something that somebody else was trying to disrupt off of me because that they wanted to curse others. Which is how they got cursed, which is how the curse went back to sender. And now that I'm breaking the curse, it's breaking off of everyone in the collective. And then the person who initially had started that curse doesn't have the energy to do the curse anymore. And so they actually have to pay off their karmic debt. And this is how we're releasing ourselves onto the future. And we're moving on and we're moving forward. And yeah, now there's fulfillment. That's it. And there they are. Like, what is that energy, bro? This shit is like, it's like the energy of someone. When I say Arena, then they come up. Like, it's like, when I say Mercy and then like some girl named Mercy thinks that I'm talking about her. Like, no, I'm talking about the benevolent presence of Mercy. I'm talking about the benevolent presence of Arena. Arena, Arena. Arena. Let me, Ariana. How do you say Arena in Russian? Arena in Russian. This is pissing me off. Like, Ariana. Yeah, Ariana. Literally. How do you say it? With me, how do you say arena in Japanese and Korean? I'm talking about I'm talking about um oh, I'm so done. It's all arena, arena, arena. Oh my gosh, I'm so done. Okay. How do you say it in German? Oh my goodness, bro. All arena, arena. Oh, no, that's arena still. Um, okay. Okay, arena, arena. Yay! We win! Feeling Gasser. Feeling Gasser, okay? Field of play. Feeling Gasser. Feeling, okay? Feeling Gasser. Feeling, okay? Feeling. I'm talking about feeling. Feeling. I gotta feel like somebody watching me. I'm talking about feeling, okay? I'm talking about feeling. I'm not talking about somebody's name. I'm talking about feeling, okay? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. They were making it so difficult, bro. They were making it so difficult. Everything. Like, making it so hard. Like, I'll be saying one thing, they'll think I'm saying their name. Like, I'm not saying their motherfucking name. I'm saying feeling. I'm saying feeling. 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 Feeling gossip. Feeling. Yeah, feeling gossip. Feeling. That's what I'm saying. It's about feeling. Yeah, that's it. Finally, they were always look at them. Now they're all fucking like weirded out, like can't understand it, confused and shit. Yeah, because they weren't in the right fucking energy trying to fuck with me. Honestly, that's the same person. Yeah, exactly. Thought that they were getting they were trying to act like they were getting my blessings, but it was their blessings that they were taking for granted, thinking that they were going to get their blessings later. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they're always pissing me off with this shit, right? Yeah, trapped in that shit. Empress in reverse energy, exactly. See, they thought they would. Yeah, exactly. They don't have any strength to. The strength is gone. The strength is gone because the change is here. The divine masculine sent in that change, right? Because there was always going to be, what you call it, justice. Yeah, exactly. They wanted to act like they had a share. There wasn't any share for them after everything that they've done. That's the truth. As much as I would like to, and I forgave them already, as much as I would like that they were making it extremely difficult to literally proceed. But I'm talking about feeling. There wasn't any feeling. Feeling. There wasn't any feeling. Feeling wasa. Oh, there's feeling wasa. I wasn't even saying it right. Feeling wasa. There wasn't even a stadium. You see stadia. I'm talking about stadia. Stadium. Exactly. There wasn't a stadium, an arena to perform, feeling wasa, feeling gasser, feeling wasa, feeling gasser. There wasn't anywhere to do what it is that we were supposed to be doing. But the reason was because it was always being blocked. Like, they were trying to act like there wasn't any place, like it was belonging, because they wanted to act like there wasn't such a thing. Yeah, because there was discrimination when it came to performance, because of because the value was only interpreted through what was already common, not what was variable. Okay? People can only put rules on what it is that they know. They can't put rules on what they don't know. You see what I'm saying? So when there's something that they don't know, this is also me like explaining why alienation can be a good thing and a bad thing. It's not, alienation isn't necessarily the worst thing ever. Okay? Alienation sucks. It does on earth. Like, you know what I mean? Like, alienation, like, how do I say alienation? Alienation is something of a test in itself. Okay? Here. So alienation literally means the act of making something or someone an other. You see what I'm saying? It's a process of turning away or being made foreign. That's what it is. Foreign. So it's like being a foreigner. Being a foreigner, which is the alienation of it, isn't the worst thing ever. It also can mean you're not from There, I'm a foreigner when it comes to the earth. Absolutely. I'm a star seed. I'm an earth angel, not my eye looking at me. My eye looking at me to make sure I remember. Yeah, I am an earth angel. I am not of the world. I wasn't conceptualized on earth. I was conceptualized in heaven and then I was born on earth. You know what I mean? This is the truth. I'm trying to tell you. It's like, you know what I mean? Whereas God conceptualized humans for earth and it takes ascending to heaven. You see what I mean? The difference, right? Whereas I was already made for heaven and then I was born on earth. So I'm a foreigner on this land. But I'm a foreigner on every land. That's how I am. So, and that's the thing. I already knew that, right? Whereas that person wasn't alienated. They weren't the black sheep of their family. I was. You see what I'm talking about? I was the black sheep of my family. They weren't the black sheep of their family. But they probably, you know what it is? They went through culture shock and it fucked them up. That's it. That's their diagnosis. That's their diagnosis. Some of these people go through extreme culture shock and it completely breaks their reality. I don't know what it is, but that's what it is. Yep, enlightenment. That's what it is. They went through extreme culture shock, which is something that even I had to heal from when I got here. When I got here. You see what I mean? I don't really feel so alienated now because I know that people are, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I definitely still feel alienated. But basically, it's what it is. I'm used to that. But that's another thing I don't have to get comfortable with. You see what I'm talking about now? This is where I gotta learn to grow the fuck up. I need to learn how to make myself comfortable, honey. I need to make myself comfortable, honey. Yeah, this is something that I'm not used to, right? This is me stepping outside of my comfort zone. What am I comfortable with? I'm comfortable with being a motherfucking alien. I'm comfortable being a foreigner. I've been seen as a foreigner even in my own family, right? Even in my own family, in my own countries, with my own land, with my own people. I've always been seen as a strange little weird creature that just didn't really make sense to anyone else. But, you know what I mean? Now I'm an adult, so I get to make myself comfortable. So I guess I'm expanding my alignment. I guess you could say, and they can't take that away from me. They can't take that away from me. It's just not gonna be possible. And that's the thing. There is now a feeling there's a feeling Hawa feeling wasa. There's a Hawa. What are you what are you doing? Yeah, exactly. See, that's it for them. There's a feeling wasa here for me. There's a feeling wasa here for me. And I call forth my feeling wasa. I call forth my feeling wasa. Let me even say it in my language. Hold on one second. Ina kira feeling na wasa. Ina kira. Ina kira feeling na wasa. Yep. There it is. Ina kira feeling na wasa. I mean. Yep. Ina kira feeling na wasa. I mean. Na kiri feeling wasan da ke sikina. Amen. Nakira feeling wasan that kirin that ke sikina. This is my language, y'all. This is my tribal language. Okay. Nakira feeling wasan that ke sikina. Period. Yeah, there it is. Let's go. Okay. So yes, it's coming through, y'all. So this should be coming through for the collective as well now. You know, where we go one, you know how it goes. So yeah, I had to flip that over so it would be in the energy it's supposed to be in. Yep. So now things are fair. Exactly. Things are fair. There's pressure on 3 of Wands energy. Let's see what what market that is. What's that pressure on the journey? Pressure on the journey. So I'm being told of the pressure on the journey. There it is, the market. Ooh. So we got the seasonal market, adaptability. You see, I told you. The pressure for adapting to cyclical demand, adaptability. Okay, justified. So serve with excellence, reliability. Okay, so we're gonna be calling for some sort of reliability. Okay, there's a lot of other fields there in play, but the main thing is adaptability. Okay, so we have another one here, adaptation. Same thing. So you see how it's the main thing is adaptation, right? The nobility within the whole situation is to be noble and adapting. Yeah, learning to be noble and adapting. So nobility and adaptation, right, is also allowing yourself to only move like through moral comfort, allowing yourself to get morally comfortable or comfortable with moral identity, and then adapting in the world through your moral compass that way. You know what I'm talking about now? You get what I'm saying now? So it's really, it's a lot here. But basically, pressure for operating where formal economy gaps exist. In the shadow economy, basically providing where systems failed, merit hidden stability. So hidden stability comes through by noble adaptation, and the pressure is pressured operations and pressured adaptation. Pressured operating adaptability. Pressured operable adaptability. Okay, pressured operatable adaptability. Yeah, that is rising now. This is also a form of evolution. This is us going through an evolution. Pressured, so this is the test for operable adaptability. Okay, it's an ability to control your adaptation, basically. Operable adaptability. Yeah, the ability to function and adjust effectively under pressure while remaining operable or active. Yeah, this is also the energy of, what is it called again? When people say you're high functioning, that's what they mean. This is what it is. Resilient operational flexibility, adaptive functionality in high pressure conditions, operational adaptability under pressure. So when people call me high functioning as an autistic person, it just means that I adjust effectively under pressure while remaining operable or active. I just remain operable and active. It doesn't mean that, I feel good doing it, but that's the whole point of getting comfortable, is learning to make yourself feel good while under pressured operable adaptability. There you guys go. That's freedom. That's basically what we feel, what women feel when they're pregnant, right? We still gotta function. We still gotta go, 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 even though there's a whole fucking evolution of our entire body going on, which is why it's feminine energy. Okay? That's why I said you can't, ain't no way you can fucking think that you can fucking mimic that, mock that, think that you can do that. Like, especially if you're not that, like, that's pretty, that's why it's laughable. It's laughable. Yeah. When you're not destined for it, yeah, you gotta be destined for it. So, and then you also gotta like measure up to the destiny to apply that function. Yeah, definitely cited, right? Finally, it's been properly cited, the energies that were like playing around, yeah, trying to cause, yeah, exactly, there it is. They're under judgment now, whatever that energy is, whatever that curse's entity was, all that was confusing the situation, making it seem like, trying to bend reality to its will, all that jazz. Yeah, they're getting, that's it. They're getting obliterated. Yeah, that's it. And we're free. Divine masculine, divine feminine is free. We're free. That's it. We outie. That's it, y'all. Curse broken is success. I won't even have to do that one because it's a 2 hour 144. Yeah, that's it. 1444. Maybe I'll just do a little bit of it just so that we can close this out in a different way. Hold on, let me make sure. This is upright. Okay. Here, because I gotta, yeah. Look at that. Okay, yeah. Let's see what the cards say on this one with love oracle cards. Like 5D oracle cards I can see. Welcoming love, meeting the one, open your heart, getting together. So this is unlocking the heart. Remember what I was saying? Trying to they can't put false locks on the heart anymore. They can't put false locks on the heart anymore. Yeah. They can't put false locks on the heart anymore. There's happiness, expansion, joy, playfulness, oneness, enjoying each other, right? Ascending, as transcending obstacles, learning, expansion, new phase, preparing for union, right? This is like 5D to 6D energy. Like I said, this is the 5D cards because they're love oracle cards. I remember when I didn't like them for the longest time, right? There it is. There they are. Fucking competition, enemy, clever, malicious, look over your shoulder, the other woman. They're the ones that are in a karmic relationship. They're the ones in a karmic relationship with, like, they don't have the ability to function and adjust effectively under pressure while remaining operable or active. They basically become inoperable and inactive every time there's pressure. But they're attempting to project that as if it was everybody else's circumstances, when in fact they're a foreigner to this land and should learn the ability to function and adjust effectively under pressure while remaining operable or active like everybody else, which is why it's called operationable or operable adaptability, right? See, healthy choices, right? Healthy choices are here. And so we're moving forward, right? Self-indulgence. So it's focus on self-worth, time to heal, shadow work, self-appreciation is here. So self-appreciation is here. Twin flame energy is here. That's yin yang zhang. Yeah, there it is. Sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, predator, persistent, working on it, and that's them. Them being trying to abuse persistency, which is where they only learn how to be persistent because they knew what consistency was. The consistency has been taken away from them, and so their idea of persistence is also deteriorating. So it's not a real idea of persistence. There's nothing I can do about it. It's actually obsession, but what'd you call it? Persistence in the energy that it truly belongs in, which is the energy of consistency, is the energy of continuum, which is 8th dimensional, which we're not even there yet when it comes to this message. So they can't try and make it seem like, you know what I mean? Whatever the hell it is that they're trying to do. Yeah, because moving on, yeah, see, twin flame, moving on, time with friends, happily single, living in the moment, having fun, and there you go. You see what I'm talking about now? Completing with union, right? Happily single. Are you seeing the signs yet? Happily single, union, balance. You see that? Balance, union, happily single, yin and yang, divine masculine, divine feminine, emperor, empress. That's how it works. Okay? Sword and rose. Okay? Clarity, truth, revelation, slow down, force, honor, and protection and power. So, revelation is here. And recently I wrote in my journal, I was writing here, of revelation, income, I see it now. Okay. So the butterfly, relationship evolving to the next phase, healing inner child and growth. There's here about dimensions of, okay, this is a whole new season of a whole of the same show, you guys. This is a whole new season. This is like, this is the feeling of being a new season. Okay, this is a new season. So there's a new season. So there's a dimension of a season that we're coming into. It's a whole new season, y'all. Is it winter? I think it's winter. Winter is coming. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Winter is coming. And that's the reality. Yep, winter is definitely coming. Winter is definitely coming. Yep. And it's a whole new season. and their boundaries. Oh my gosh, there's so much going on. Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's it. We're on to a new season. Okay, I can't read the rest of it because the finale is on, you guys. The finale is on. Okay, I gotta go. Bye. See you guys next time. Bye.